standing sentry at the walls surrounding the courtyard of Thor, Iulus Fenian looked out at the legions marching implacably across the ice towards Kellenport. It had been days since the successful sabotage mission conducted by Commander Cronus and the Ultramarines' armor. The destruction of the phasic generators should have crippled the Necrons. It barely broke their stride, and now here they were again, a few hours from the gates. How many do you think are out there, Brother Angel? At his own request, Iulus had taken up a position on the wall nearest the guard fighters, and dispersed his immortals to do the same. Men needed courage at times like this. He resolved that they would find it in his example, and that of his warriors. More than we have shells and bullets for, Sergeant Kolpek. Iulus knew of all the guardsmen and militia who fought on Damnos, he need not lie to this one. Falka Kolpek had survived the initial assault. He had lived through the first siege. He had even endured when others lost their minds during the attack on Infirmary 7. You saw off her transport? Asked the Ultramarine, watching the distant skeletal hordes. Perversely, perhaps the storms had abated in the last few hours. Behind the drifts and whiteouts, a vast Arctic landscape had emerged, and upon it legions of Necrons. Kolpek nodded and checked the iron sights of the heavy stubber he was charged with manning. She did not wake before her medicasket was taken aboard, Kolpek offered, but I believe she knew I was there. Iulus gave the facial equivalent of a shrug. He had seen how Kolpek had been willing to give his life to protect this woman. It was a form of brotherhood, he supposed. He chose not to disabuse him of the notion that she would survive the journey to the Valen's revenge, or warn him that she was most likely to be in a coma forever, and the chances of them ever being reunited were remote in the extreme. "You could have joined her," said the Ultramarine, turning to look at the ex-rig hand, "but you chose to remain. How is it any different to your brothers staying behind?" Iulus sniffed, incredulous. "We are Adeptus Astartes. Our Primarch Guilliman raised us above mortal men to guide humanity. It is our duty, our honor." Kolpek met his gaze, but had to crane his neck. "The oaths I have taken, the ones I swore to Jin as she lay in her coma, are not so different. It is my world. I want to fight for it even if it means my death." He turned back to continue his weapons check. Iulus regarded him silently for a few more seconds before deciding he had no answer to that.